YouTube channel of Unacademy, where I'm doing the next session on the XAT 2020 strategy session, session two. So a few things that come to mind. I've already talked to you about the basic outline of what we are trying to achieve in every section. So a few things do come to mind with respect to your giving this exam tomorrow. And first of all, I would like to start off by wishing all of you a very happy New Year and giving you, best wishes from my side for tomorrow's exam. And so, without any further ado, let's get to the point of what we are trying to look at. So, as you already know, the objective of the session is to get to a score of 35 plus. The objective of your exam tomorrow is going to be to get to a score of 35 plus, and the closer you get to 35 onwards, the better it is for you. So this is, of course, the objective, and this objective is going to be served by the sum of the scores of your verbal ability, your DILR, your decision making, and your QA plus DI. So we have already talked about this in the first strategy session that I've taken day before yesterday. In that we have talked about the fact that the 26 questions in verbal ability you should be trying to tackle in 57 minutes. You can do a plus minus 5 to 7 minutes on this, but if you do a plus 5 to 7 minutes here, you'll have to decide where you take that minutes from, because the three sections you're solving is at 165 minutes. Decision making, on the other hand, 21 questions, we have targeted around 47 minutes for that. And the basic principle is that you are trying to define your time that you are allocating to a particular section has to be proportional to the marks that section gives you. Time has to be proportional to the marks. So 47 minutes for 21 questions. And in this, I don't think you need to go plus on 47 minutes. You can do a -5 if you can handle decision making in 2 minutes per question. Although there are sometimes some speed breaker questions. So अगर वैसा है, कुछ speed breaker questions अगर हैं, तो तुम उन क्वेश्चंस को या तो स्किप कर सकते हो, या फिर वो स्पीड ब्रेकर इंश्योर करेंगे कि तुम्हारा पूरा 47 मिनट्स तो लग जाए, और -5 तुम नहीं कर पाओगे यहाँ पे. और क्यू ए डी आई की जब बात करते हैं, व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट क्वांटिटेटिव एप्टीट्यूड इन डेटा इंटरप्रिटेशन, तो क्यू ए डी आई इज 21 क्वेश्चंस क्यू ए and 6 questions DI. So I'm often asked about XAT QA. Is it tougher than CAT, or is it easier than CAT, or is it the same level? So my point of view on that is that if you look at the feel, there is a feel of every exam that you take. When you give an exam, it gives you a feel. So when you take the feel of the QA section of the XAT, you will find that the feel is very similar to CAT, very very similar to CAT. Because the CAT में, if you look through from question 1 to question 34 in your exam in 60 minutes, you're able to most people are normally able to look through 25 to 28 questions. So if you look at that structure, that may be in around 60-61 minutes. We have decided to give 61 minutes to the QADI section in that, as per our discussion yesterday in the last session. So this should be a breakup. So in those 61 minutes, you are looking at 27 questions, which means you are trying to more or less solve it the same way. लेकिन XAT में again, like CAT, also the QA section of XAT will have, अगर past patterns continue करेंगे, तो QA section of XAT will have a mix of some very easy questions and some very tough questions. It'll be a mix of the two. So you have to ensure that you latch on to the very easy questions and you skirt around the very tough questions. So that is not a very balanced paper in that sense. So I just wanted to give you an idea of what I mean by saying that. Uh, I just have uh, an example of a few questions from that 2019 to show you what I mean. So if you look at this first question, I mean, I will try to think of, or I'll try to show you in that sense that if you look at these questions, how much how much work and how easy or how difficult is it for a normal student to solve this, right? And how much thinking is it beyond with respect to a school student? I mean, if you think of a school student, is this within the achievable limits of a school student or not? तो इस पहले क्वेश्चन को अगर देखोगे यहाँ पे, तो दिस क्वेश्चन, अगर if you look at this question, you realize that this question is quite intricate. What they are telling you is that A, B, C, D, E are five employees working in a company. And 2 successive years, each of them got hikes in his salary as follows. A का hike is P% and P plus 1%. B का hike is P plus 2 and P minus 1. C का hike is P plus 3% and P minus 2%. D का hike is P plus 4 and P minus 3. And E का hike is P plus 5 and P minus 4 percentage, where P is some value. And then the question further says that if all of them have the same salary at the end of 2 years, who got the least hike in his salary? तो इस क्वेश्चन को अगर तुम देखोगे तो दिस क्वेश्चन रिक्वायर्स, अगर तुम इसमें algebraic जाओगे तो दिस इज अ वेरी टफ क्वेश्चन. If you're trying to solve this through algebra, this will require a lot of solving and a lot of writing. And उसके बाद भी कोई भी स्टेप में अगर गलत कर दोगे तो this will be quite tough to do. बट अगर इसमें algebra छोड़ के अगर तुम न्यूमेरिकली जाते हो तो यहाँ पे लॉजिक ये रियलाइज करना है तुमको कि अगर तुम न्यूमेरिकल जाओगे, and I'm coming to why I'm talking about this question or a couple of questions in the context of strategy of taking the XAT tomorrow. तो न्यूमेरिकली अगर जाते हो तो you can do one thing. What you can do is suppose you take this as P as 10% and P plus 1 is 11%. So if the salary hikes are 10% and 11%, I mean, see, essentially this question, if you look at this at the structure of this question, the solution of this question, who got the least salary hike, A, B, C, D, E, cannot depend on the value of P. Hence, if you can work out at any value of P, if you can work this out at any value of P, then you'll be able to see. And if you want to get the maximum percentage, if you want, since the issue is that after these two hikes, the salary of all the five cases is same. So when you're talking about least percentage hike, least hike in salary, so when you're talking about least hike in salary, then you're looking at someone who is whose starting value is the highest, and hence his percentage growth should be least. तो अगर तुम 10% और 11% को देखते हो, और यहाँ पे 12% और 9% है, और यहाँ पे 13 and 8 है, एंड यहाँ पे 14 and 7 है, और यहाँ पे 15 और 6 है. Right? They're taking 10 and 11. तो अगर if I now exit the PowerPoint and go back to my writing on the paint pad, because there the quality of the writing is much better. So you are trying to see whether a number increasing by 10% and 11%, इसमें ज़्यादा परसेंटेज इंक्रीज होगा कि 9 and 12 में होगा. What are numbers? Let's just look back at those numbers again. Let's just look back at those numbers again. Just give me a second. Yeah, this one. So 10, 11, 12, 9, 13, 8, 14, 7. 12, 9, 13, 8, 14, 7, and 15, 6. These are numbers, right? So, and the structure here is basically a successive percentage increase. A successive percentage increase also means that the original salary, let's say for A, if I define the salary of A as A into 1.1 into 1.11 gives you S. For B, it is 1.12 into 1.09. This gives you S. For C, it is 1.13 into 1.08. This gives you S. For D, it is 1.1614 into 1.07. That gives you the value of the same salary. And for E, it is multiplication by 1.15 into 1.06. That gives you S. So if you look at the composite multiplier, there's a logic being used here, and that logic is, suppose I have two numbers, A and B, whose sum is 10. In that scenario, if I take the product A into B, so the product maximization happens when A and B are closest to each other. So 5 into 5 is the highest number, 6 into 4 is a smaller number, 7 into 3 is a smaller number, 8 into 2 is even smaller, 9 into 1 is even smaller. So the closer the numbers are, the larger the product. So यहाँ पे you can see a structure, this structure getting applied in this question, that if you look at the sum of the multipliers, in each case the sum of the multipliers is 2.21. And the closer to two values are, the larger the product will be. The farther the two values are, the smaller the product will be. So since this 1.15 to 1.06 is since each of these products, the two parts of the product add up to 2.21 in each case, whether you're looking at 1.1 and 1.11 or you're looking at 1.12 and 1.09, every time it adds up to 2.21. तो ऑटोमेटिकली ये क्लियर हो जाता है कि मिनिमम प्रोडक्ट इसका है और मिनिमम परसेंटेज इंक्रीज इसमें हुआ है, तब जाके एस हो गया है. तो ऑब्वियसली द मिनिमम एब्सोल्यूट चेंज इज आल्सो हियर. सो द करेक्ट आंसर हियर बिकम्स ई वेरी क्लियरली फॉर मिनिमम चेंज. And if you go back to the question, you realize that the question is asking us about who got the least salary hike. So the correct answer will be E got the least salary hike. Now why am I showing this to you this is not a maths problem solving session. Why I'm showing you this in a question like this is because look at the travesty of justice. Look at the travesty of justice. This is the first question. This is getting this question done. Getting this question done is quite difficult. Right? Let me just shift the PowerPoint window a little bit to the left so that you can watch the whole thing. So getting this question done is quite difficult. Whether that logic strikes you there or not is quite difficult to understand. और इसमें अगर तुम algebraic चले गए तो यहाँ पे तुम बुरी तरह से फंस जाने वाले हो. सेकेंड क्वेश्चन अगर देखोगे, ये क्वेश्चन तो डिलीट हो गया था, लेकिन ये भी क्वेश्चन अगर देखोगे, if you think through algebraically and mathematically on this question, you will again realize that this question is again a pretty tough structure in terms of thinking, and there's a lot of thoughts that you have to generate. And look at the travesty of justice. Look at the injustice when they give you 1 mark for this question. Two numbers A and B are inversely proportional to each other. So if A increases by 100%, B decreases by 50%. That's a standard pair. So you don't even have to touch your pencil for this. So the travesty of justice in that is कि question 1 or 2 में भी 1 mark था और 3 में भी 1 mark है. Or if you look at this question for example, कि 5 लोग का a firm pays 5 clerks 15,000, 3 assistants 40,000, and accountant 66,000. So if you look at this question and you try to solve this, you have, and I've done this in a previous YouTube session which I had done that 2019 questions. 5 लोग का 15,000 है तो 75,000 एवरेज टोटल हो जाएगा. 3 क्लर्क्स का 40,000 है तो 1,20,000 एवरेज टोटल हो जाएगा. एक मैनेजर का 66,000 है तो 66,000 सैलरी हो जाएगा. तो ये सैलरीज मिल गए सबके. और उसके बाद द क्वेश्चन इज आस्किंग यू टू फाइंड द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द मीन सैलरी and the median salary. It's asking you to find how much the mean salary exceeds the median salary. So mean salary in this case is clearly 261,000 divided by 9, which is 29,000. And for the median salary, you put these 9 numbers in order, 5 15s, and the fifth number will be the median for amongst 9 numbers. The fifth value is the median amongst 9 numbers. So 15 is the median. So 15,000 is the median. So the exceeding value is 14,000. तो ये भी एक क्वेश्चन है उसी जैट में और वो भी क्वेश्चन था उसी जैट में. तो you will not find that evenness. CAT में थोड़ा ज़्यादा evenness रहता है in terms of questions giving. Although CAT में भी easy और tough questions होते हैं, but इतना degree of difficulty difference नहीं होता है. So when you are entering the QADI section, what you should do strategy wise, let's come back to strategy. This is a session on strategy, not on problem solving. So when you come to the QADI section and you have 61 minutes allocated to it, plus minus 5 to 7, depends on whether you are able to take out some time from verbal, and you can do this plus 5 7 based on which section is strong for you. तो अगर एक सेक्शन ज़्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग है तो उसमें स्कोर तुमको ज़्यादा आता है तो उसमें 5-7 मिनट दे के 2 मार्क्स और बढ़ाना बेटर है. एंड शेव ऑफ 5-7 मिनट्स फ्रॉम द अदर सेक्शन. सो इफ योर कॉन्ट्स DI इज स्ट्रॉन्ग एंड योर वर्बल इज वीक तो वर्बल में 5 मिनट कम कर दो, 5-7 मिनट्स कम कर दो. राइट, जस्ट मेक श्योर दैट योर वर्बल कट ऑफ इज गेटिंग क्लियर्ड. डोंट मिस आउट ऑन द कट ऑफ पार्ट. तो ये जब करोगे तो इसमें यू हैव टू डिवाइड द क्वांट सेपरेटली एंड द DI सेपरेटली. ऑल्दो कट ऑफ सिर्फ सेक्शनल पे है, लेकिन DI का लास्ट ईयर 6 क्वेश्चन आए थे, 6 क्वेश्चंस. When you look at the paper first and when you're looking at the quant DI section and when you start the 61 minutes for yourself, just have a quick look of how many questions are in DI. And basically, since you are solving 74 questions in 165 minutes, the thumb rule is 2.2 minutes per question. So 6 into 2.2 will give you 13 minutes. तो 13 मिनट्स DI का इनिंग्स है तुम्हारा और 48 मिनट्स क्वांट्स का इनिंग्स है. 13-14 मिनट्स DI इनिंग्स है एंड 47-48 मिनट्स क्वांट्स इनिंग्स है. लास्ट ईयर पैटर्न रिपीट होता है तो 21 क्वेश्चंस क्वांट्स के थे, 6 DI के थे. तुम लोग इस लॉजिक समझ लो और उसके बाद इस लॉजिक पे यू विल डिसाइड ऑन द नंबर्स when you see the paper tomorrow. So what happens is inside this, what are you targeting becomes the next logic. If your target is 8 to 10, if you're defensive, this is a defensive target. कि sectional cutoff clear हो जाए, मेरे को कुछ तो आ जाए. और offensive target on QADI, you have to be clear about what you're aiming for, not solve randomly. A normal target will be between 12 to 15. And an offensive target in QA will be 17, 18 plus. So essentially, and as I've told you already a couple of times, quite clearly, so offensive target would be 17, 18 plus. So as I've told you already a couple of times, that in the XAT, given the minus 0.1 negative marking, और उसको confirm कर लेना एग्जाम में before we start the paper कि ये है कि नहीं. minus 0.1 negative marking for not marking a question, for not solving a question. अगर ऐसा है तो तुम दो तरह के questions को segregate करोगे. Out of the 21 questions in quants and the 6 questions in DI, you will try to see how many questions can you get sure of. So if you can get sure of, let's say, what in a scenario like this for 17, 18, what do you need? You need to get sure of 12 questions. 12 to 14 questions you need to get sure of the answer out of 27, because we are looking at sectional score of means quants plus DI. तो 21 questions में से 21 questions में से in quants, even if you can be sure of 10 to 11 and 6 questions in DI, अगर तुम 3 or 4 पे sure हो सकते हो तो तुम्हारा 13-14 questions sure हो जाएगा. Now जो sure questions होगा उसमें भी तुम्हारे errors होंगे. You will make errors even in the sure questions. So you have to make sure, you have to understand that इसमें भी accuracy calculation will only give you 90%, although you have marked it by fully solving it. So 13-14 solve करोगे on the sure structure, so you will expect around 11-12 to be right. This is one. And then you will then also define how many questions you are on 50-50. Right? So अगर quants में 4-5 question 50-50 है, DI में 2 question 50-50 है, तो ये 7 question में से 6-7 attempts और हो जाते हैं तुम्हारे, 19-20 attempts पे पहुंच जाते हो. राइट और ये 7 क्वेश्चन में से 3 राइट होंगे, 3 रॉन्ग होंगे, 4 राइट होंगे, 3 रॉन्ग होंगे, 3 राइट 4 रॉन्ग होंगे. सो यू गेट 3 राइट 3 रॉन्ग. सो इफेक्टिवली अराउंड 2.25 स्कोर आएगा तुम्हारा इसमें. राइट एंड 6-7 क्वेश्चंस अगर तुम छोड़ते हो बिकॉज you are not able to solve those, you don't have any idea about those 6 questions you leave, and just because there's a negative marking on not marking an answer does not mean you'll mark randomly. So 6 questions छोड़ते हो तो you are heading to a 13 to 14 kind of score. तो if you are looking at 13-14 score तो तुमको करीब 13-14 क्वेश्चन पे श्योर होना पड़ेगा ओवरऑल इंक्लूडिंग द क्वांट्स एंड द DI. अगर तुम्हारा 17-18 टारगेट है, 17-18 टारगेट है अगर, if that is your target, then you'll have to create surety at least in 16-17 questions and a 50-50 call in 6-7 questions. Maybe 8 questions रख लो इस पे. तो ये 16-17 क्वेश्चंस अगर सही करते हो तो 90% एक्यूरेसी आएगा. 14-14.5 मार्क्स यहाँ पे आएंगे, अराउंड दिस मच. 1 एरर 2 एरर 14-15 स्कोर आएगा. मे बी कैन ड्रॉप डाउन टू 13. और इस 8 में 4 राइट 4 रॉन्ग, 50-50 कॉल्स हैं. सो इफ यू कैन गेट 4 राइट एंड 4 रॉन्ग इन दिस, यू गोइंग टू गेट 3 मार्क्स एक्स्ट्रा. So this is where you'll have to reach 16 sure answers and 8 50-50 answers. If you reach this point, you can easily expect a 17-18 score wise. Right? So in that context, questions that belong to these categories, for example, this is a gift. This is a complete gift. Question 3 is a complete gift. Question 4 is a complete gift. Question 5 is very doable. You can easily get to this thing. So if you just look through, question 6 is a complete gift. तो इफ यू सी द पेपर इज रिप्लीट विद गिफ्ट्स, तो 8-10 गिफ्ट तो तुमको मिलेगा ही. ये थोड़ा टफ है, वो भी टफ था, ये वाला गिफ्ट है अगेन, राइट. सो इफेक्टिवली व्हाट यू कैन सी इज दैट दोज वेरी सिंपल क्वेश्चंस अगर तुमको 5-7 भी मिल गए, तो तुम्हारा आधा काम, almost half work of 16, and DI you can get to a lot of questions where you're sure of the answer. तो DI में आराम से 5 क्वेश्चंस क्रिएट कर सकते हो. तो कॉन्ट्स में तुमको 11 ही क्वेश्चन क्रिएट करने हैं जो श्योर है अगर तुमको 17-18 स्कोर करना है. तो अपना ऑब्जेक्टिव क्लियर डिफाइन कर लेना बिफोर यू एंटर द पेपर, राइट, टुमारो. तो आज रात को अपना ऑब्जेक्टिव सेट कर दो ताकि वहाँ पे ऑन द स्पॉट डिसीजन मेकिंग लेना पड़े तो यू आर रेडी फॉर इट. If you have to take some decisions on the spot on tomorrow, then you are ready for it. The other question people are asking me is how should we organize the section? Should I go VA first, decision making next, and QA DI last, or should I? Some people I've been talking to, some of my students, my institute talk about QA being should be the first. I'm trying to, or they are trying to put QA as the first section, DILR as the sorry, DM as the second section, VA as the third section. Now this is a personal choice. ऐसे तो देखो तो किस ऑर्डर में करोगे फर्क नहीं पड़ना चाहिए, लेकिन फर्क पड़ता है थोड़ा बहुत, बिकॉज योर फर्स्ट 20 मिनट्स इन द लास्ट 20 मिनट्स अगर स्ट्रांग हो गया तो बीच का एंगल तुम थोड़ा सा वो कर सकते हो. तो तुम एक वन आई एम अ फैन ऑफ गोइंग स्ट्रेट विद द पेपर, कि जिस सेक्शन का जिस तरह से ऑर्गेनाइज किया गया, जिस ऑर्डर में दिया हुआ है वैसे ही सॉल्व करो. लेकिन ऑल्टरनेट स्ट्रैटेजीज कुड बी दैट आई पुट माय स्ट्रॉन्ग सेक्शन फर्स्ट. अगर मेरा वोबल स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं है और वोबल फर्स्ट सेक्शन है तो वोबल को मैं लास्ट के लिए रखूँगा, वीक सेक्शन लास्ट एंड स्ट्रॉन्ग सेक्शन फर्स्ट. तो if my cons is strong, QADI is strong, I'll start with QADI, give it 61 minutes plus minus 5 minutes, then move to DM, give it the 47 minutes, and then finally move to my weakest area. तो इससे क्या होता है, you start off, your opening batting is very strong, और धीरे धीरे लास्ट में अगर ये स्ट्रांग हो गया और तुम अहेड ऑफ टारगेट हो गए तो यहाँ पे प्रेशर थोड़ा कम हो जाता है, सॉल्विंग द टफर एरियाज फॉर योर सेल्फ, not necessarily in the paper, but because you are weak at verbal suppose, तो ये वाला पार्ट तुम जो कर रहे हो तो तुम ऑलरेडी सिर्फ तुमको सेक्शनल क्वालिफाइंग देखना है. ऑन द अदर हैंड अगर VA तुम्हारा स्टार्टिंग सेक्शन होता, अगर तुम कॉन्ट्स में स्ट्रांग और VA से स्टार्ट करते तो पहले 50-55 मिनट में तुम्हारा स्कोरिंग आता ही नहीं. तो इट इज़ बेटर टू हैव द मार्क्स इन द बैग. मार्क्स इन द बैग हैज़ अ लॉट ऑफ वैल्यू इन द एग्जाम. ऐसे देखने में लगता है कि स्टार्ट में मार्क्स ले लें या लास्ट में ले लें क्या फ़र्क पड़ेगा, लेकिन मार्क्स इन द बैग ऑलवेज हैज़ अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग साइकोलॉजिकल इफेक्ट. और मार्क्स इन द बैग अगर आ चुके हैं तुम्हारे तो फिर नेक्स्ट 2 सेक्शन में तुम्हारा जो टफर सेक्शन है उसको भी हैंडल कर लोगे, राइट. तो हर सेक्शन में जब जाते हो तो वोबल में अगर जाते हो तो वोबल में भी यू ट्राई टू लुक फॉर 26 क्वेश्चंस हैं वोबल में. Try to look for 8-10 questions which are where you can be sure of the answer, right. So if your verbal is weak, then your target will be 8-10 marks, 10 maybe 12 marks max target, so that you're not keep cutting it too fine. So 8 to 10 sure, 6 to 8 to 9 even, maybe 10 which is 50-50 calls where you feel you're getting to the right answer but you're not absolutely sure. तो 10 क्वेश्चन वैसे रखते हो और 10 क्वेश्चन ये करते हो तो यहाँ पे 9 के आसपास स्कोर आ जाएगा, और यहाँ पे तुम्हारा 5 राइट 5 रॉन्ग तो 3.75 के आसपास आ जाएगा. तो 12 के आसपास स्कोर आ जाएगा, 12.75, और 3-4 क्वेश्चन छोड़ोगे तो -0.1 इंटू 4 तो 12-13 तभी भी स्कोर रहेगा तुम्हारा, ठीक है. तो एक लास्ट थिंग बिफोर आई वाइंड अप, एक ऑल्टरनेट स्ट्रैटेजी भी अडॉप्ट कर सकते हो. अगर तुमको स्टार्ट भी स्ट्रॉन्ग, सपोज योर QA इज स्ट्रॉन्ग एंड यू वांट टू स्टार्ट स्ट्रॉन्ग एंड फिनिश स्ट्रॉन्ग, तो व्हाट यू कैन डू इज यू कैन स्प्लिट द 61 मिनट्स दैट यू हैव इन QA into 30 minutes to start with, Then you do your DM, the whole 47 minutes. Then you do your verbal ability, the whole 57 minutes. And then you come back to QA in the last 31 minutes. QADI in the last 31 minutes. So this is again an alternate strategy. This can be adopted if your quants is strong. अगर V on the other hand strong है तो यही चीज़ तुम यहाँ पे VA डाल दो या यहाँ पे RC डाल दो, यहाँ पे VA डाल दो, ये काम कर सकते हो तुम, right? So I hope there are no chats coming in today. So I hope all of you are clear about this, and best of luck to all of you for tomorrow's exam. And I'll take your leave now. Thank you so much for being uh, for taking the time out. And goodbye, everyone, and good luck. Thank you so much. And go out and give your best. Forget whatever has happened in the CAT. Tomorrow is another day. Go out, perform, make it big. My blessings with you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.